Hello. I am so exhausted right now because I just worked a 6-hour shift and half of it was spent outside in the blistering heat. But that's okay because I guess I stopped by Chicken Express right after work and I got myself some tea, so everything's okay. Also, my dad cooked for the first time in a very long time. It's hamburger helper. It smells so good. It tastes good too. It's probably gonna get cold because I'm gonna get super focused on this live stream. But that's okay. I could just heat it up in the microwave. Anyways, how are y'all doing? How are you guys doing? Are you guys enjoying yourselves today? Yeah? Well, I have some bad news. Um uh Apocalyptic Power season 2 will not be out for a few months. And the reason I say that is because of how busy my schedule is, and like I've got a trip, like I have a trip in June and then a trip in July and then a trip in August. And so we are trying to just ignore this. Being a teenager sucks cuz like I get like bumps all over my face still and stuff. No matter how much I wash my face, they just do not go away. And it's because of my dad's genes, because his family has really terrible acne and stuff. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Let's recap what happened in season 1. So we have Araya, our main character. She is thought to not have a power. She has her first kiss with her best friend. She gains a superpower. I do not know how to recap this because there's so much that goes on in that freaking book. Hold on. I'm just gonna read the descriptions of every episode. Ugh. Okay. Uh. Okay. Here it is. All right. Never mind. That's useless. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I have the book right here. Which, if you ever just want to read it yourself, it's on Amazon. There's a link in my About section. If you're watching this on Twitch, just go to my YouTube channel. You'll find it there somewhere. Okay. So, first up, we have Chapter 1, New Destiny. So, it starts off in Houston. Araya and her classmates are on a field trip. During that field trip, Araya and Armea kiss. And we have like a a bit of sarcasm in here also. Yeah, they kiss. Some buildings explode. There's a villain, and after lifting a piece of concrete off of a woman, Araya realizes that she has super strength, which she had gained that ability from Armaeus, but she didn't realize that until later. And then you have... I really should have written a script before doing this live stream. I very much regret not having a script for this live stream. The villain is obviously after Araya after he tells Araya to run as fast as she can, for she won't be able to hide for very long. And then Rise comes and kidnaps her. Sort of. She saved her in the he saved Araya in the process, but she didn't really go with him all too willingly. Um anyway, she passes out on the way uh to Rise's cabin in the woods. That sounds so wrong, but I promise it's not. Uh, she wakes up, they get breakfast. Uh, they talk about how Araya gained her super strength, and they go outside and they train. They basically practice with Araya's powers because obviously there is a villain that is after her, so she needs to practice. Um, and then Rise is a bit, like it, like a bit harsh during their training. And then by the end of the chapter, they realize that there was a possibility of Araya getting her power by kissing Hermaeus, but they're not 100% sure until Araya kisses Rise. They go on a date and they talk and they learn about each other. Um, yeah, they kiss, and then they realize in the next chapter that, hold on. Oh, okay, no. In the next chapter, the villain finds them in the woods, and then that's when, or no, they don't find them. He doesn't find them in the woods yet. They went grocery shopping, and he found them in the parking lot. They exchanged words, punches, and they fought. And the villain starts like putting stuff in Araya's head, like why did Rai save her, and like why did he save her specifically, and like how did he know where she was and all that. And he like sort of hints that Rise had hurt her at some point, and then that's when she realizes things were not as they seem. So they go back to the cabin, and oh jeez. And Araya starts pressing Rise about what the villain was talking about. And that's when Rise reveals that he's actually from a different timeline, and he basically ends up telling her about how he accidentally killed her in another timeline in which he was still trying to save her, and he reveals that he had tried to save her several times but failed each time because every time him and Armaeus fought, she would end up dying. And Araya is scared by this, and Rise is scared that she's going to leave because every time he did tell her about what happened in the previous timelines, she would end up either running away or saying that she would stay and then run away anyways. But in this timeline, she ends up staying for real. And I don't know why this happened, because like I think it was some sort of editing, uh, like a like a glitch or something. And then yeah, Araya gets up in the middle of the night and Rise is still awake. Like he's sitting at the kitchen table and cuz like he expected her to run away again just like the other times. My glasses are crooked. And but no, she was just up to get some cheese, typical teenager stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm live. Anyways, so they what? Probably. Don't touch it. It's my roll. You touch my roll and I will shove my hand down your throat to fetch it. You can have a little piece. Okay. Anyways, so Araya is obviously still scared. uh, you can self-publish though. Like you could self-publish, or you can like go back and like try to make it better. So, and then like all you have to do is like print it or like email it to like a publishing company, and if they like your book, they'll publish it. But I self-published because I was too anxious to send it to a publisher. Anyways, uh, what?
You want to try these?
What are they? Cranberry health mix. What the hell? Ugh. I see some cons in there. I see some almonds. I see cranberries. No, thank you.
Good, because I'm throwing them away though.
Okay.
They taste gross anyway.
Okay. But yeah. Rise takes Araya back to bed, and he like comforts her as best as he could. Or wait. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I don't even know my own book that well. Then again, I did write it like 2 years ago. They hugged basically, and he was like trying to comfort her, and she actually fell asleep in his arms. And so he carried her back to bed, and Araya asked him to stay. And so they basically cuddled and fell asleep. Now, in the next chapter is where Araya gets taken. A giant fireball hits the kitchen, and they run out, and the villain he basically kidnaps Araya, and she wakes up in a dark room chained to a chair. And then that's when he removes his mask, revealing that was Armaeus the whole time! Oh my gosh! Wow! Plot twist! Obviously, Araya was very surprised that her best friend was the one that kidnapped her. And then, and let's not forget, half his face was covered in burn marks, burn scars. And, like, you would think that makes sense because the Armaeus from earlier, who had gone to fight the villain, you would think that's the same one because, he's fighting someone with fire abilities. But, anyways, Armaeus basically acts all crazy, talking about how they're going to be together forever. and he reveals that his real ability is that he can make clones, and each of those clones has its own special ability. So, like, he can make one with super speed, he can make one with super strength, electricity manipulation, and stuff like that. Um, and he kisses Araya, and he through that kiss, he's able to mind control her. But not really mind control, it's more like bodily control, since she was able to remember everything that happened, and she was able to um, she was able to basically see and hear everything that like normal. She just couldn't control her body. They have dinner. Uh, the villain mentions that he has Rise. Like he like kidnapped Araya and then went back for Rise and like kidnapped him too and put him in a cage. And anyways, he kisses Araya again, and then they sleep in separate beds. Um, there was like a little bit of spicy stuff. Like Armaeus basically pinned Araya to the wall, and then kissed him, and uh, she was unable to control her own body, so he like made her kiss her back, and like I was like 16 at the time that I wrote this, and I was like, I don't want to include rape in this because like rape is an awful thing, and like while it's realistic, I just like felt like that. Let's not do that kind of feeling, you know. and and then Araya starts questioning everything. Uh, she was wondering if Rise was the one that let this happen, and then she was like, "No, I can't do this." Uh, she uh, she realized that she was powerless against Armaeus because of the body control. And then we have chapter 7, where basically Armaeus allows Araya to go and speak to Rise one last time. And so he takes her down to his basement, basically, where they see Rise pretty much. He's in a cage, basically. And there is a clone there who is basically blocking his ability. And then Armaeus makes up this lie about how there's an evil darkness within Rise and that he's dangerous because of it. And Araya almost believes it. But then Rise whispers something in her ear that makes her realize, oh my gosh, we gotta get out of here. Um, Armaeus ends up letting Araya move of her own will, and they, where is it? They go for a walk through a garden, um, and they like basically Armaeus talks about his original timeline. And there's like this giant tree where that where in the original timeline, Armaeus and Araya had grown that tree together. But like in this scenario, uh, Armaeus basically had brainwashed Araya. And there's like a little bit of chemistry, but then Rhea's like thinking, no, this guy's evil. I can't fall in love with him. And so after that, they went and had lunch, and then Armaeus let Araya walk around and stuff because like this timeline is different. Everything that happens in this timeline is mostly different from what happens in all the other ones because that's how timelines work. And like in the previous timelines, this is like the first time this scenario has happened where Armaeus lets her walk alone through his home, and she like explores and stuff, and she found a tunnel that led to the room where Rise was being kept. She made a key out of ice and used it to unlock the cage. And I know some of y'all are probably wondering, what about the clone that was in there? He fell asleep. Canonically, that's what happened. Actually, oh wait, I did mention it. Okay. They go back through the tunnel, and Rise runs off, and Araya decides to keep pretending, basically. And so they make dinner, and some time passed, mostly in silence. And then Armaeus basically spoke up. And that's why he said, so, did you enjoy exploring the tunnels? And then that's when Araya like froze and she was like, oh shit, he knows. And um, she basically spoke like a half truth. She said, yeah, it's interesting that you have those. They were fun to explore. And that's when he reveals that he knows that she betrayed him. And so she started running, and then Armaeus created a clone that had super speed and then sent that clone to go catch her. Uh, Araya got into one of the tunnels and ended up, like, when she kissed Armaeus, she was able to copy his ability, obviously. So she made a clone that could teleport. And that took like a lot of energy out of her because like it was her first time making a clone. They disappear, and then after she manages to get away, that's when she passes out. My food is getting cold. Mm, so good. Anyways, um, oh my allergies. Anyways, Araya wakes up and she was in her own bedroom, still in her timeline. Uh, she went downstairs and she realized that there was an older version of her um, standing in the kitchen. And she sat down, they spoke, and they ate. The older version of her revealed that she was from the future, but also from a different timeline in which she, well, like, sort of from a different timeline. Because, like, I don't know, time's confusing. Time travel is very confusing. Uh, and then you have, yeah, basically, yeah, she's from a different timeline. And then she tells her what happened after she passed out. Basically, she says that she is there to stop the charade. And she mentions that she got there just in time to save her and Rise from dying, basically. Because that was where Araya had died in most of the timelines, was when she teleported away. Rise and Armaeus ended up following her, and they started fighting, and then that's when something different happened. Something that neither Rise nor Armaeus had been through. This was like new. And she reveals that Rise is there too, and that he's upstairs sleeping. And funny bit happens. And then Araya goes upstairs, sits next to Rise's bed, and rests her head on his chest and falls asleep. Um, After a couple of minutes, Rise wakes up, and they held each other for a few minutes. And then Rise ate, and then, their battle wasn't over yet. So next up, in chapter 10, they basically talk. It starts with Rise and Araya training with their abilities. During that training, Rise pins Araya to a tree with vines and ice. And then timer goes off. Araya is annoyed that he won. And she breaks free of the ice after he walks inside without her. And then they talk about the plan and how they're going to beat Armaeus. And then they make their plan, and then they train some more. And then in the final battle, they go to Armaeus' mansion. They start looking for him. There are clones everywhere, and they're like killing these clones one by one. They're like thinking about how with so many clones, obviously he's going to be exhausted. So they go looking for him, and they think, oh, he's most likely in his bedroom. So they go to his room, and that's when, and there was a clone of Armaeus lying in Armaeus' bed. But it wasn't the real Armaeus. It was a clone who then started to kick their asses. And then they killed that clone, and he turned into a puff of smoke. And yeah, there was an explosion of sorts. Like he released a shockwave and sent them all flying outside. Armaeus goes and grabs Araya by the hair and starts bringing her inside. She fights back, and he sent another shockwave. And then, just as Armaeus was about to grab Araya, something flew by, grabbing Armaeus by the throat. And it was a man who was wearing a cloak, so she couldn't see his face. They fought for a couple of minutes, and Armaeus let out another shockwave, which was strong enough to tear off the man's cloak. And it was Armaeus again. So there was a good Armaeus that had gained sentience. He became his own person, separate from the original Armaeus. And this is the same Armaeus that had saved, or basically kissed Araya, actually, and went and fought the evil Armaeus, the real Armaeus. The good Armaeus tells Araya where the real him is, because because all the clones are connected and stuff. And so they go and they grab Armaeus from the basement, and he basically asks to see the sunset one last time. And he says that he was angry and let his anger get the best of him. And he, after a very long time of fighting to have Araya for himself, he finally realized what he was doing was wrong. And he realized that he needed to be exterminated. And so they took him up to the roof, and all the clones were gone by this point. And so they took him up to the roof. He watched the sunset one last time, and Araya took a sword of ice and put it through Armaeus' chest. And when Araya did that, whatever was left of the clones disappeared, except for the good Armaeus, because he had gained sentience, and he was now the real Armaeus, but only with super strength. He couldn't make clones. They said their goodbyes to future Araya, who then returned to her timeline. And then they all went back home, and they repaired the cabin, and they fixed everything. And then they word gets around that she kissed Armaeus, and then Rise's dad gets back from his business trip and wasn't very happy about what happened to the cabin. And then the final words: I knew we were gonna have a lot to deal with in the future, but we were ready to deal with anything. We were happy, and we had nothing to fear. For now. And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. Now, as I said, season 2 will not happen for a pretty long time. So, if you guys ever, if you guys do want season 2, if you know what, if we get to 200 subscribers by July, then I will release season 2 in August. But if not, then you guys are gonna have to wait even longer. Ha 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 ha. Mostly because I'm going to be extremely busy because of all my trips, and I'm working 2 jobs right now. So it's gonna be a while. It'll come out when it comes out. I don't really have a set date for it right now. I want to finish writing the book, the second book, before I start releasing it episode by episode. So yeah, you guys are gonna have to wait for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I have to say. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed Apocalyptic Power, because there will be a season 2. I can promise you guys that one. Shut up! Dogs, am I right? There's probably somebody walking by my house right now, and that's probably why they're barking. I'm gonna smack those dogs. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed Apocalyptic Power, and I hope you guys had as much fun listening to it as I had writing it. Because this is the first book that I have written and published. It's not the first book that I wrote. I have some the cringy books that I wrote. You know what? I might rewrite those books and then release them. Maybe. And after, I actually have another book that I want to write after I finish the Apocalyptic Power trilogy. Because that would be, because I have all these ideas and stuff, and it's freaking amazing. And I really, really want to write them, but I can't. Mostly because I promised myself that I would not start on another project until I finish the one that I'm currently working on. the, and in the meanwhile, I'm not even getting that first project done because I'm working on a bunch of other different freaking projects. Procrastination at its worst. I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that is what it is. Because, like, while I'm, like, working, like, trying to work on this book, I'm also getting a bunch of other projects done just to procrastinate the book. And it sucks because now the book's not getting done. I will get it done, though, eventually. I promise you guys. I promise. I promise. I promise. Cross my heart and hope to die. Oh, wait. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in my eye. I tried a million times. I have that song stuck in my head now. But anyways, I will see you guys all in the next live stream, which will probably be Saturday, I would say. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I have something that I'm supposed to go to on Saturday. I don't know. I don't know. But if I have time to live stream this Saturday, I will. If not, then I'm sorry. But wait. Oh, excuse me. I actually don't even know if I have work on Saturday. Well, I shouldn't because I asked for that day off. I don't know if I have work tomorrow, but I most likely will. So, if not Saturday, then definitely Sunday. Hopefully. Most likely. Anyways, I will see you guys all in the next live stream. I hope you guys all enjoyed listening to me talk about the overview or the summary or sort of summary. It was like 30 minutes long. Of Apocalyptic Power. I was 16 when I drew this, by the way. This was back when I was terrible at drawing. The cover for the next book is going to be so much freaking better because I'm a lot better at drawing now. And on top of that, I drew this on paper and then scanned it on my dad's printer. And like we had to go in and fix it because the lines weren't dark enough for the thing to see. And for the record, those are supposed to be eyes. And the hands are so freaking small. This one is like so much smaller compared to this one. And then you have the clock, which represents like the fact that Armaeus is like messing with the timeline. I'm happy with the font that I chose though for the words. Like, look at that. That's beautiful font. And then I didn't like write anything for the back of the book. But rather I wrote like about why this book exists. And then like that's a picture of me, by the way. I was 16 when that picture was taken and I hate it. Oh wait, no. Wait, which picture is this? Oh yeah, this was back when my hair was long and it was like bleached at the time, and so like after it grew out, not gonna lie, I kind of miss that hair. I ended up cutting it all off. And then oh wait, I was wearing my dark lipstick and my one of my lip rings in this picture. Oh fuck. Anyways, I have said the outro like 3 times already. I will see you guys all in the next live stream. I love you guys so much, and y'all take care. Bye-bye. Are you sure you want to end your broadcast? Yes, I am. Bye, guys. I love you so much. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications.